Kerosene has never seen a bear butt in her entire life. We need to bring her to a location where they are prominent. And
No, what
there
I
are a
meant
lot of
is
them.
I've never been to a swinger club. Not I've never been to a butt.
So outrageous the toll. You can lose all you have. We refuse to give in to the town that takes all. To survive, you must have the will. How this movie doesn't end the way we want. All the time, and he shouts at the moon. She's gone. Fears will come. He was walking a mile. He was walking alone.
Alright, now everyone listening and everyone at home playing along, please put down your pencils. We are about to get the moment we've all been waiting for. 30 fucking hours of this show. Kirstine is about to learn how she feels about aardvarks.
All right, can you spell it again, please? Because
I typed it in the chat.
Oh,
Yep, she typed it, and it is in all its weird
Oh, there.
multiple letter glory.
Yeah, they threw an extra A on there because they wanted to be at the start of the dictionary.
an Erdferkel. Oh, you guys.
What did you call it?
Erdferkel.
Okay, so it's not that much different.
An earth fucker. That's not what it uses the nose for.
It's literally the translation is earth piglet. Erdferkel. It fits.
Hmm.
But I haven't seen one in a long time. Oh my god. Oh, what is it? What is this?
It's an aardvark.
Yeah,
It's an alien.
It's the most perfect creature, really.
They're also known as anteaters.
No, those
That's
are
the-
anteaters.
That is the most common phrase for them, is anteater.
But those are the same thing, really?
To most people, yeah.
It's just okay. An Ameisenbär, an ant bear, we call those.
An ant bear.
Yes, Ameisenbär.
Admittedly, it's been a long time since I went to Gothland at the Underground, but I'm pretty sure there was Papa Dom, but I don't remember Ant Bear.
Look, we call things like how we see them. We've been over this.
I mean,
like
it
a
makes
million years
sense,
ago.
you know. Beowulf, it's Beewolf, which is bear. Yeah, a bear is just a wolf of the bees. So
You guys are just too complicated in naming things. Like, what you call these fuckers? Pangolins?
Oh, pangolin?
Pangolins, yeah. What's a pangolin? That's a scale animal, is what we call that.
A pangolin?
It's the only scale animal.
It really is, so...
Wait, now I'm confused. What the fuck is a pangolin? That's like an instrument, right? Like a mandolin?
No.
Like you play it if you're like an old timey folk band. Someone has long hair, smokes too much weed, and plays the pangolin.
I've seen someone describe these as they look constantly like they want to ask you out to the prom. Oh, it's where is it? There it is. He's about to ask you out awkwardly. That guy is.
Hmm.
And that's a scale animal.
I'm pretty sure he was a member of the X-Men in the early 80s. He led the team for 4 issues when Cyclops was out of commission. But he didn't do quite as well because he had a gruff but loving personality.
Yeah, but I bet he did a great job. He was just underappreciated. I mean, look at him.
Wolverine never accepted his authority.
No,
is
this
all I'm
one's
saying.
even better. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mostly know the name because one of the backers on Dice Funk right now is Bloody Roar Needs Pangolins.
It does.
Mm.
Oh my god. I just found a picture with pangolin titties.
Ooh.
The-
You have to share this with
I
us.
do.
If only Voldemort is sucking on them, that would make it perfect. But oh wow, that is. I wouldn't go that far because hot is really saved for a particular use. But wow,
Nah, we use hot for just about everything.
That's
those are some engorged boobers. Look at them nips.
Mm.
it's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. Welcome to FTP Google Hour. It's a tradition.
It really is, and it's beautiful, and it's my favorite thing. I wanted to actually say something that I was a little bit behind on catching up with the finished product of the podcast because, well, I live it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening, and I want to say I really, really appreciate the ending of the episode before the most recent one. Because, Kirsten, you made it end on the perfect note. It's amazing. We did this entire interaction with a major NPC without fucking anything up.
And we still have we? No.
And then going right into the next episode where it's like, by the way, would you like to be my evil underlings for a while and abandon your quest? Cool.
Hey, abandoning. Look, I wouldn't call it abandoning at all. Like, it's like sometimes you just
Yeah, we're
you
in a
gotta
repository of
multitask.
knowledge, and we would get bitched at for not exploiting that.
Oh,
So-
I don't bitch at people, and I don't think Gloss would have bitched at you.
No, by we would get an audience, so they could be mad at us for not getting all the knowledge that we needed.
Oh, we don't have
from-
one now, but we would get one.
Yeah.
They would grow an audience. They would just come out like one of us would be like, I don't feel too good, and our stomach would just burst open, and like 14 dudes with fedoras with hot takes would just shoot out of us.
Yeah. Yeah, they would all complain that we didn't do enough in that library to
Yeah, that's yeah. This
research
is
things.
Stone Root syndrome is what I call it.
Yeah. And we would have to come up with some shitty defense about how, we had already spent too many hours in that library and we needed to get on with the plot. And
By the way, I was really worried about today because last night I was planning on taking my phone and I was going to go get something to eat and sit down and like just go through what both of you had sent me for what your plans were for the next 3 weeks of, in-game time, not just like in real life. And I was going to sit there and I was going to write down notes. And then I got to Burger King and they had that sign up that's like puts like a countdown timer on how long you have to eat before they'll chase you out with a fucking stick.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, like
yeah, because Burger King is a really high demand space for, life. Like they must have had people living under the tables and they realized we need to put up a sign and say you can only live here for 30 minutes.
Do they have free Wi-Fi?
Probably. Most
I
restaurants.
don't think not that one
Oh,
at least.
huh.
They don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Burger King is basically where you go when the local McDonald's is closed
Yeah.
and you can't afford Wendy's.
Pretty much.
Like literally, I've never had a line there when I've gone. And there were 2 other people in the place the entire time I was there.
Well, apparently those tables are in high demand.
They must be. I mean, when I saw that sign, I was just like, wow,
No.
thank God.
No, you're misunderstanding this. It's just that Burger King is extremely asocial. They like it that way. They like it when no one's there. So they see you coming. There's no one there, and they see you coming like, oh, fuck. A human being.
They're basically like the cats of the fast food world.
So-
They know they need you to show up, but they want you gone as fast as possible.
It's got nothing to do with space. It's just that they don't want to see your fucking face is the issue here. Not you
Okay, I
personally.
understand that.
but-
I've seen me in the mirror. I know what I look like. I understand that. But everyone?
Yeah, it was probably the people who work there who put up that sign and signed it as the management.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have an actual theory as to what that sign is really there for. There are, to my count, 2 maybe 3 homeless people in the entire mall area, and winter is coming. I live in the Great White North, where it gets cold during the winter. I think they're putting up this sign so that if a homeless guy, one of the 3, comes in and orders a burger and wants to sit there and chill out and be warm, they can kick his ass out. I think it's entirely just so they can be meaner to homeless people.
Wow. I mean,
because they never make a peep when they're in a place like that. They just sit there and they eat their dollar menu burger or whatever, and they enjoy not freezing to death, and they never cause trouble or talk to anyone or even do anything other than sit there and look kind of shabby because they're homeless. I think it's entirely so they can be no, we weren't discriminating against that person just because he was homeless or whatever. We got a sign.
Well, would
Everybody's
that be
here
worth
for more than 30 minutes? We shoot them.
Would that be worth pissing off everyone else?
Yeah, it seems like they'd be better off just putting a sign that says no loitering. And if you're there and you're not eating, then they can consider that loitering, I guess.
Yeah, because the thing that really got me, a no loitering sign, I'd understand. Every convenience store in the world has them outside, right? No loitering, please take notice. Okay, cool, I dig. You're running a business. But the whole, you have 30 minutes to consume your food, it's what the fuck is this, prison?
Yeah, that's really specific.
Are we in high school now? I'm sorry, the bell rang, you have to throw your food away and get to class.
Yeah, it would be interesting. What happens after 30 minutes? Are they really gonna
sit
come
there,
up to you?
time it for 30 minutes, and then walk up to the manager and say, hey, I've been here for 30 minutes. What are you going to do about this?
Yeah.
My question is, what happens when, someone brings, grandma out for her 96th birthday? And she's old and frail, but she loves Burger King from when she was young. And she wants to go to Burger King she might not have many birthdays left, and she wants to, especially not that she can actually go out, and she wants to go to Burger King through taking. She's really moving slow, and she eats really slow because she's 96 years old. She's frail. She has a walker, maybe an oxygen tank. I mean, but she's the sweetest little old lady, and she has a little flower to give to every child she sees, and it's not even drugs; it's just a flower. And but she takes a long time to eat because she takes little bites because she's just a frail little. And she takes more than 30 minutes to eat. Are they gonna boot grandma into the snow? Be get your fucking fruit-loading ass out of here. You paid for your food half an hour ago. There are other people who need this seat, you old bint.
I just want to inform you, is one last thing on pangolins. I just found a picture of one who just completely shat himself, but I'm not gonna share that.
Aww.
I just wanted.
No, what?
Yeah.
Give.
I just.
No, we need that scat.
We need to see this. I'm so close. That is Jamie posting a selfie hot. That's what that is.
Shitting pangolins? Okay.
Yep.
I can't call this episode Shitting Pangolins.
Yeah, that means we're going to have to actually do something.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Funk Dunk Play Season 2, episode number 36. We are back again after a beautiful week during which nothing big happened in the real world. So we don't need to talk about any of that. Though, I mean, really, the whole thing about the moon being a hoax, I always thought it was really there.
Did you?
I can't believe that it turned out that the moon was really just a dude holding up a piece of paper just out of eyesight.
I always thought it was something they burned into your eyes when you're born, so that when you look up at the sky, you think you see it.
No, well, maybe for some of you rich people. Maybe for you rich people who can afford the really expensive Illuminati schemes, but I'm not that rich. They just have a dude that carries a little piece of paper on a wire, and every time I look up at the night sky, there it is.
Wait, it's not cheese? Is what you're saying?
It might be a wheel of cheese in Austria, yeah.
The Austrian Illuminati might do it differently. Alright, so last time we left our intrepid adventurers, you had agreed to take over the Brantham Library, while Everdeen Gloth was predisposed doing a little bit of light genocide. instead of role-playing in real time, the entire roughly 3-week span that she'll be gone, which I thought about at first might be fun, but then I thought, there's going to be a lot of time spent sleeping or going to the bathroom, even though you don't physically have to do that while you're here. I kind of feel like you might want to, but I went, is this really something we need to
to
go into?
Wait. Do we take shits for fun? Is what you're saying,
Yes.
Jade?
No, Elisa
you?
doesn't know that meaning of fun.
I'm just thinking, like, as a force of habit, you might just poop, just for the hell of it.
I'm sorry.
And I don't necessarily want to be like, okay, Kerstin, you're dropping a deuce. You have to roll me a Constitution save here. Ooh, you botched! Just one of the really messy, splattery ones that gets in your hair. Oh my
That's
god!
a pangolin shit right there.
You,
Okay.
worse than that, you do a hippo shit. You grow a tail that just pinwheels, and you're shitting, and it just flies out like a cone of destruction. Everything within a 10-foot cone takes 3d6 damage necrotic.
Spoilers for Dice Funk Season 5. There's a hippo character
Oh,
as the
I
joke.
wouldn't.
No, I wasn't even sure if you were joking because I still haven't listened.
No,
Yeah, me neither.
Oh,
it's pretty good.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a nice change of pace from Season 4.
Okay, cool. That's what I want.
My thing is, I feel like I just the completionist in me is gonna want to slog through 4 before I actually listen to 5,
No.
and I don't know why, because I didn't like what I heard of 4.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to listen to 4 until a few years from now, at least. Hopefully, if all goes well.
We're not talking about those losers over there. We're talking about a good D&D podcast where we just spent all this time talking about nothing but D&D for the last half an hour. Anyway, I decided we were going to do basically vignettes.
So apparently we leveled up or some shit. So, despite what one might think, it was really hectic all this time with the whole apocalypse thing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now it has actually some time to himself. It's quieting down.
Yeah.
And it starts to hit him really that his whole scene changed. He's human now.
Mm-hmm.
He was never encouraged to have an identity as was previously established, but still this is kind of a huge thing. So what I imagine him doing in a quiet moment when he's not a super good librarian, which he is. I'm just making this executive decision right now. Maybe go to some quiet place, Gloth's office, possibly, and just start shredding the pan flute. Is that a thing? Can you shred a pan flute? Like,
You can now. If you couldn't before, and by the way, if any pan flute aficionado listening in, if you couldn't before, you can now.
Oh,
Okay?
sure.
I have changed the laws of physics. You may now shred a pan flute. You may now wail on it.
Good.
You can shake what your mama gave you on it if you like. I believe.
It's too heavy.
Yeah.
He's gonna, I assume, just sit there and play some Man in the Mirror.
Okay. Yeah, is he telling himself to change his
Yes,
ways?
exactly. And
Okay.
he feels the magic coming, and a little while later when he checks himself in the mirror, probably after he took a hippo shit, he's gonna have to clean himself and look in the mirror. He realizes that he suddenly looks like a thin, pale man with a very frail looking nose, but a fabulous outfit.
So basically, it has Jacksonified himself.
Yes, and now he realizes, I can do magic with my pan flute. I can change my appearance again. Wow, that's neat. Which is a very long and convoluted way of explaining that I took a level in Bard.
One question I do have, just so I can...
What I just referenced was this guy's self.
You are now Hogwarts Michael Jackson.
I am now Hogwarts Michael Jackson. I assume this brings some peace to his mind to know that he can do that again.
Okay. His lack of a permanent, unmutable identity is part of his identity.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like not having one form, like one, permanent physical form, is always kind of been kind of who he thought of himself as. And having a single, immutable physical form would have felt very alien to him.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I'm assuming Eliza, just to keep with the strategy, took a level in priest.
Evil priest, the dark god, also known as warlock.
Yeah, you took another one. Did you gain anything cool?
Well, I guess to put it in context, I mean, during her plans for the prime material haven't changed, but she sees the 3 weeks we're spending here as an opportunity to study some spells, get some useful knowledge for her own trying to be a better snake purposes, but also some kill spells. So she picked up 2 new spells. Since I got an extra spell slot, an extra spell known. Yeah, I picked Crown of Madness for that one.
Ooh.
And then I get a Mystic Arcanum at the 7th level, which it's like the Chain Lightning, I can use it once. And so for this one, it's called Finger of Death. So I figure she must pick up some old martial arts looking tome of killer moves or something and finds this death finger thing.
We can't call it Fingering of Death.
You could. I mean, it has a range of 60 feet, so I figure she's just gonna flip people off and it does massive damage.
Oh, okay, wow. That's even better.
So the Finger of Death.
Yeah.
Stay on Elisa's good side.
Yeah.
Or just make sure you have full HP before you get on her bad side, and you'll have another 10 seconds to live.
Pretty much.
I will start with Eliza.
Okay.
It is maybe a day or two after Gloth left and left you guys in charge. And like she said, the library pretty much runs itself. For the most part, you really are there simply so that someone is there and in charge. It keeps the librarians on the straight and narrow, knowing that somebody's watching, sort of thing.
Yeah, I figured I would be sitting in the reading room a lot, reading books, and if they have a problem, they can come to me and I can scowl at them.
Oh, yes, and that you are good at that. You may have mastered scowling. So, what is your first thing you're going to be looking to try to do?
I want to finish reading that book that I picked up. The Hectate's...
Okay. Hectate's first level instructional primer for young children.
For young gods.
You will need to roll to see... Well, basically, because this is a book meant for gods, you are a very clever mortal. You will need to... You can basically pick, if you want to roll Arcana to sort of use your knowledge of magic and aim it at the book to try to understand it that way, or just straight investigation.
My Arcana knowledge is better. Okay, so 16.
Oh, wow. You are a lucky little sausage. In reading the book, you, using your knowledge of magic and of, being a warlock, your knowledge of semi-divine gifted magic, you, find the spell, which you would have been sort of described or translated by the library as a permanent polymorph. The first thing you realize is that it isn't like any polymorph magic you had ever heard of. In fact, whereas polymorph can change you the physical form, this appears to be something far more basic in nature. And by basic, I don't mean simple. I mean basic as in machine code rather than programming language. It changes the basic fundamental blocks of what something is. It changes its very morphic nature. Meaning, instead of changing something into something, it makes something completely and fundamentally something different. It being that it is so powerful, and that there is no changing back because it changes something's fundamental nature, it requires divine energy in order to cast. Something that would require the energy from a powerful celestial god.
Okay.
That you couldn't cast a spell by yourself unaided. Even though I have gone into sort of detail on the forums about how even demonic energy is simply the flip side of the same font of what we think of as celestial divine energy. It's all the same type of energy. That type of energy couldn't necessarily power the spell demonic energy because this is from a celestial god primer.
Okay, so does it have to be a good god or just a god?
A celestial god is all you are being able to figure out, meaning not an abyssal god. That not all abyssal gods are evil, not all celestial gods are good. It's just the abyssal ones tend to tint like more towards evil, the celestial ones tend to tint more towards good. But
so it would be like a good spectrum one. I wouldn't be able to just like invoke
a good spectrum god. Yeah, but I mean, there could be an evil god on the good spectrum. You know, I mean, there's no such thing as definitive. If you're here, you're automatically A. If you're there, you're automatically B. But yeah, what you would think of as the good spectrum, the heavenly type gods, as opposed to the abyssal gods.
Okay, so I'll copy all that information down into my personal notes to hold on to for later.
What is Snick?
Yeah.
He's a Yuan Ti god, whatever category they're in.
Well, that's something that was never really anything I think that Eliza really particularly thought about. Sneck was her god.
Yeah,
You shall not be
he is
stepped on,
part of the
you know?
Yuan Ti pantheon, which makes him better, but compared to all the other gods. So that's all she needed to know.
Yeah, and I don't think. I don't think she would have thought of like, well, where is this god geographically? Because that's just not something that came up.
I mean, she has like a mental sense of like hierarchy, but it's all based on the Yuan Ti perception of how much you value one species over another, including gods and divine creatures. There's a whole tier system to it.
Yeah, so she wouldn't necessarily think of Sneck as being abyssal or celestial. She would just think of Sneck as being the awesomest god. You know, the best, highest god, because Sneck is Sneck. Sneck is snakish. Sneck is a Unity god.
Well, I mean, at least he is in the upper echelon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, I think she knows that Sneck isn't like the most major Yuan Ti god, but he is a Yuan Ti god, and he is the one whose values most align with her own. And if she can push his cause enough, it could theoretically push him up the pantheon a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I mean, gods are powered by belief, so if his causes were advanced, and then...
Yeah, because it's like, there are other Yuan Ti gods, but they're not really doing anything to further the Yuan Ti cause, from what she can see.
So now that you have retrieved that knowledge through your study of the book, we're going to go over to it.
Present.
And we'll see, what is it doing? It is now a couple days after you have agreed to this, and you had a really big feast, and you had a rather awkward conversation in the break room.
It is probably, at this point, thinking that Gold might want to know where the hell they are.
Okay.
It can't go anywhere. I mean, theoretically.
That's true, you can't leave.
Yeah, he doesn't know what would happen if he tried, but he's not gonna try.
Because, rules.
Fucking rules. So there's probably a lot of randos at the many. Like, just people who it doesn't particularly care about.
Well, yeah, I get the feeling that it cares about them insofar as they are important to forwarding the will of the traveler, but not like as people.
No, but maybe some who he thinks aren't even particularly useful. And,
okay.
I mean, I guess, it's difficult, but...
Has he been ranking them?
Yeah.
Does he have, like, a little, like diary with, like, all, like pink frilly hearts on it? That's, like, the ranking of the members of the many from hearts to farts.
Look.
Just ask him to send Jeff.
Between missions, what else is there to do? So, what I want to try is, just pick out one of those guys that is... in its mind, completely dispensable.
Like useless Jeff. Or layabout Jeff. His name is Nameless Jeff.
All right, his name is Nameless Jeff. And it wants to open a gate and pull that guy through. Because that's a thing Gate can do.
Okay.
Splat.
Is it gonna pull him right into the first level and he's stuck in that place with that guy?
Oh well.
You're going to attempt to summon Nameless Jeff into Librantham.
Yes.
In order to do this, we got to realize a couple things.
Yeah.
Number one, your own ability to make portals in and out right now is hindered by the fact that you yourself are locked into this plane until Gloth returns, because you willingly accepted these conditions.
Yeah.
So it becomes more difficult to make any kind of a portal, even one that you're not going to use yourself.
Okay.
Also, the church is plane shifted,
Yep.
meaning it exists partially in multiple planes.
Okay.
That is a defensive measure,
Yes.
but it also makes it far more difficult because while you could get there yourself if there were no restrictions on your ability to use Gate, the fact that there are restrictions on it right now and that it's plane shifted, that means it's going to be a challenge for you to do what you're trying to do.
Okay.
So, what you're going to need to do is an Arcana roll. Arcana. Arcana sounds like it's like I need to be like suggesting you do that before you have sex with your cousin and drink moonshine. Roll your Arcana, Jethro! Roll your Arcana.
Sure thing. Also Tides of Chaos, advantage.
Okay.
22.
Okay, good. Your first roll would have been funnier.
No. Splatter Jeff.
If your roll had been less than a 10, the person would have come through perfectly fine, all except for their bones.
Oh, shit. Well, that's why I picked that guy.
So, just through much effort and you furrow your brow quite a bit, I'm assuming at one point you go, woo, and Shamoa! You may have to moonwalk at one point while you're doing this. This is simply an arcane moonwalk.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it feels like the world, the fabric of reality is fighting you, you reach up with your mind and you tear open like a hole in the very nature of the world, and you grab Nameless Jeff, and you grab him by the back of the collar with your mind and just yank him through. And he goes, yoink! And he flops onto the ground, looking very confused. Don't worry, he wasn't jerking it or going to the bathroom or anything like that.
Spending another day being useless.
Yeah.
He was reading a comic book.
It is going to be his moment of glory where he actually gets to do something.
Yeah, you didn't pull the comic book through, and he looked a little bit annoyed because he really wanted to know how Grognar the Barbarian was going to get out of that mess. But then he realizes he's in a completely different world.
But he's smart.
But being a smart, well-trained agent, he doesn't immediately scream out and start crying.
Oh, good.
He remembered that much of the training. Nothing else, but he remembered that much.
Hey there, tiger. No.
He looks up, he manages to regain his composure, and shuffles to his feet. Greetings. Are you known to us?
I'll give the many salute, which I haven't done in like 20 episodes, which I don't even remember what it was. It was goofy.
I'm envisioning a triple rimmer.
It's bronze.
At that point, he notices the pendant. For a second, he looks shocked, like a mixture of shocked and afraid that he fucked everything in the world up.
Oh.
And then he quickly kneels, like one of those super quick kneels, like a genuflect almost, like touches the knee to the ground and stands back up again.
No one's ever done that, right? To either of us?
No.
Wow.
But he's realized he may have fucked something up, so he's going a little overboard.
Yeah, okay, cool. I like it.
And he salutes and goes, "We apologize, have not seen you in this current form, Master Bronze."
It's quite all right, brother. I've summoned you here for a reason. Since you're...
We would hope.
I hope you haven't been too busy and I haven't pulled you out of anything too important, but I need you to get a message to Gold.
That will be difficult, but we can make arrangements. Master Gold has been extremely occupied with what those in power refer to only as a very good boy indeed.
I am sure if you mention who the message is from, he will hear you out. We, that is, Silver and I, have agreed to help Demon Lord Everdeen Gloth out with a little, well, genocide of hers, and we will be staying in the Abyss, where we are right now, I don't know if you noticed, for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So we won't be able to, in this time, help with preparations for any other of the apocalypses that are currently going on. Please tell him I'm very sorry about that, but the offer was, well, it was not good, but it was interesting.
Maybe also tell him the Hellforge isn't coming back.
Also, please let him know that Jesus Hellforge is currently busy reading and won't be returning anytime soon. That is all he needs to know for now. I will now send you back. Please make sure that he gets that message as soon as possible.
He nods, and he salutes, and he says, "It will be done, Lord Bronze."
I might bring you through this gate again at some point in the future, so you can take a message from Gold for us as well in the meantime. Oh, one more thing, brother. Drop your pants.
He looks at you very confused and says, "Is this a test?"
No, it is an order.
He shrugs and drops his pants. He has no sense of self,
Yeah.
consciousness. He's a member of the many.
I guess Elisa doesn't
Alright.
have to convince it to use that method now.
No, I'll peep that. I will not tell him to pull his pants back up. And I will just say, thank you for your assistance. And I'll shove him through the gate.
Okay, he goes through the gate, pants around his ankles, dick flapping in the breeze of the eternal void between worlds.
Yeah.
And this is something that you can't see, and really no one but Jeff can see as he travels, again, through the void between worlds. At one point, even though this trip takes all of a millisecond, he's definitely sure that a creature that seems to be an orb, a gigantic pink orb, rimmed with eyeballs, and each eyeball has really big eyelashes, like eyelids and two, of course, it's not just eyes. At least half of them, upon scoping his dick, wink at him.
Oh no.
And then he's ripped from unreality and back into the real world, where he lands with a skitter in the middle of the general dining area. In fact, lands ass first in a bucket of warm porridge.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I really am.
But because this is the many,
No one cares.
no one really says anything. Like, a few people, get up and go to refill the bowls that he knocked over, while servants come to clean up the mess. And he gets up and presents his ass to a servant who wipes the porridge off it. And then he pulls his pants back up and goes about his business.
I hope his business is gold.
In case you were wondering, by the way,
Yeah.
how that dick do.
I'm not sure now. The wink? Alright, tell me. I'm ready.
Having seen your own permanent penis,
Yes.
and now seeing his permanent penis, you're wondering now how much variation there really is in these things, and what the use of larger or smaller really would be,
Yeah.
and the different shapes and sizes, because you're like, his dick looked very little like yours. Well, it kind of looked like yours, but in the fact that, all dicks are sort of vaguely
Yeah.
shaped the same. But you look at his and you just wonder, how does he even pee with that thing? I mean, does he have a smaller friend who helps him? Because, like, you need tiny fingers to aim that thing, comparatively.
Yes!
I'm just saying, his dick game is weak.
Yes! That doesn't mean anything, but I'm so happy.
Comparatively speaking, you have a lot more dick game than him.
Yes. It 1, Dix 0.
We're now going to bounce back to Eliza. What is Eliza's next move? Her next little vignette?
We could say she's looking up information on the butts, both from newspaper headlines to see if she can confirm that there was a major fire that killed a lot of them, and also, we'll check up on the genealogies, make sure there's no like surprise heir who's gonna show up who we'll have to also kill.
Oh, I can't wait. Eliza's about to Google butts.
Okay,
Strap in, everybody.
Okay, you can go to the, I'm assuming you're gonna, actually, you know what, you don't really need to use the card catalog thing anymore, because you sort of inherently know where everything is. Yeah, you basically know where, for the most part, everything is. Like, you might not know, like, exactly what shelf a book is on, but you definitely know what row it's in. You know. Or at least what row it's supposed to be in.
And it better be organized, otherwise we're gonna be beating some workers here.
Well, yeah, that's what you've got librarians for, obviously,
Yep.
to be beaten. But basically, the area that would have the genealogy of the Butt clan, there isn't one particular section of that. It's spread out through several different sections, beginning with not even really official books, just scrolls and parchments from about 2,500 years ago that appear to be more along the lines of just like official documents and not like histories going forward until you get to probably about, you know, maybe 1,000 years ago. Then you start to get actual books about the Butt family, and they get more and more elaborate and also more and more biased towards the Butts as they get newer, as the Butts have expanded their influence. And by the time you get to anything modern written about them, it is basically like a book about how Jesus, Gandhi, the Dalai Lama, and Albert Einstein were all one person, and they were every member of the Butt family.
Okay. Does it tell me which ones are still alive?
Looking through, you can find there are a lot of people related to the Butt family, because it is a very large family, but there are only 5 living highborn Butts that you can find records of.
Okay.
The first 4 of them, it doesn't list much at all other than their names. There are even books that, well, not very books, but they're like official documents you can find, because, you know, once it's written, it shows up here, that appear to have parts of them completely blacked out or simply torn off the page that would have information about them. Like, information about them was destroyed at such a level that it doesn't even exist here anymore. But you have their names.
Yeah, their names is useful enough.
David Butt, Brent Butt, Kerstein Dunst Butt, and the only one that has any information about him is, there's a few newspaper articles about this last one. Well, not really newspaper, but, you know, like broadsheet articles or whatever. If you read between the lines, you can realize that he is Eugene Butt, but he's the cool one who left the family to start a rock band, and he hasn't been back, and he, like, really tried to distance himself from them, because they are not his scene, man.
Okay.
He is all about rock and roll music.
Well, I guess he's out of the way, so I don't need to write him down in the Death Note.
Yeah, he's like, officially, if he had stuck with them, he would be officially a highborn Butt in charge, but it's totally not what he wanted to do with his life. You would not believe it. He can play an incredible bass guitar. He invented the bass guitar.
Best.
He's awesome.
Can we find that guy?
Okay, so there's those 4, and then there's a 5th one with no name.
Did you not already write those down in the death book?
So there is a 5th one.
Leon Butt.
Leon Butt, absolutely.
The smoothest of them.
Okay, so those weren't in... Because if it says they're still alive, either they very recently died from the Death Note, or, No, I definitely wrote down more than 5 names in...
You wrote down the
42.
names of everyone that you had, 42 names of high-ranking butts that you had.
So Hellforge didn't know about
These names were
5.
not on the lists you had. But remember, everything about them except their names basically doesn't exist. Like, there was no information about the 4 remaining butts, other than, of course, Eugene Butt, who was a traveling musician.
Okay, so I'll write all these down. I'm not sure if the Death Note works on this plane, so I'll wait until we get back to the prime material before I try anything.
Okay.
Did I find any newspaper articles about a major fire at Butt Manor? But whatever the pun of that place was.
Casa del Butt.
With that Casa del Butt. Yeah, if you go to there is a section, oddly enough, up front, where there is just a giant magazine rack that always has the most recent edition of every periodical. The most recent edition of there are nothing from Stab or the surrounding areas. Not for, a little bit.
Yeah, nothing recent.
The most recent one was, in fact, a big newspaper headline that just says, Stab betrayed, nefarious foreigners from WALP use diplomatic summit as ruse to launch sneak attack on our brave populace. We will not be cowed into, etc., etc., etc. Basic propaganda bullshit. And it's all basically about the beginning of the siege.
Okay, I was hoping there would be a tabloid that had, like, a photo of the hell portal opening up, and it's like, oh shit, we're all... And then it just scrolls off. They were in the middle of writing an article about, like, mouth of hell opens up over Wizard Tower.
There is a tabloid from the day before. Its cover story is Secret Mistress tells all Prince Extellaris and his prehensile penis, can he really use it to write?
The answer is yes.
The answer is clearly yes. There's an article in there still on the front page, about the Golem religion. Is it really a religion of peace, or are they secretly planning on destroying all of us?
The answer is yes.
To both accounts, yes.
Yep. Yeah, you get peace when everybody's dead.
Yeah, and there's one more article that just says, Butt Fashion Preview. What the biggest and most important butts in the region will be wearing this season. And the picture of just an extremely fat man in, like, the smallest little black Speedo. You can barely... He basically looks naked, except you can see, like, one strap sticking out from his, like, side fat. So you can kind of tell he's not. And he, like, has a wine glass in one hand, and
he's reclining on a leather couch.
Cigar in the other. Yeah, he's reclining on a leather couch. He doesn't have a footstool, though. There was, in fact, a poor person kneeling down in front of him that he had his feet up on. And then it's just like, and the little like sub-caption to it under the poor person. Unemployment plummeting in Stab ever since Butts create their new Destroy Poverty, Create Jobs initiative.
Oh my god, too real.
I hope they use that photo on the guy's obituary. I'm sure if he's public enough to have a photo, he's one of the ones who burned up. So yeah, so I want to look up articles on just if there was a disaster at Casa del Butt that killed all of them. Maybe also see if there's any headlines on Gary the Door and see what that guy's up to.
Okay, there are no more, no recent periodicals from Trask at all. Harn doesn't have a newspaper, being a small farming village. It would be cool if it did. It's like,
okay, so they don't have like a local school paper about like a kid talking to Gary the Door, interviewing him.
Yeah, that would be cool. I still think it would be cool. Oh my god. You wouldn't even need to change it. It's just be called the Daily Bugle. Because everyone farts all the time. There are newspapers from WALP, though, that do talk about... Actually, it's kind of interesting. They have really just big pronouncements about how the devious foreigners from Trask and their demonic evilness had wiped out 2 million peaceful diplomats from WoW.
That's a lot of
Who were on a
diplomats.
camping trip.
And yes, they were camping in an attempt to bring peace and prosperity to Trask, and they were wiped out and murdered. And that the Traskians were going to pay with their very souls, and that the
Yeah, they already did
the
that.
den mother of WoW had ordered the Purity Guard to obliterate the region.
Mm-hmm.
And that they were on their way, and that eventually every city in Trask would simply be an extremely pleasant crater with beautiful views and lovely weather this time of year. There is no mention in those about the condition of Cassadel Butt, though there are articles about how evil the Butt family is.
I mean,
But
yeah.
they don't feel like they're written like in specifics. They almost feel like they might be. Now again, I know I've given a really positive view of this newspaper and their editorial standards. It feels a little bit like propaganda.
I guess
Tiny bit.
Get out of
Elisa will sigh and put the magazine back and check back in a week to see if there's any updates on dead butts. She figures, maybe they just haven't gotten around to checking to see that the whole manor burned down.
So, do you look any further into the Butt genealogy about? Yeah, because like I said, it goes back about 2,500 years.
I mean, I'm mainly interested in which ones are alive now, so I can kill them.
Okay.
But unless the only thing she would look for in the past is potentially some information on that vampire lord and whether he is like a butt who is just
Oh, he's definitely a butt.
really damn old. Well, if he's one of the butts and he just became a vampire so long ago that.
Okay. If you're looking back into the history of the Butt family, it does go back about 2,500 years, back to a period which is colloquially known in Traskian terminology as the era of the First Kingdom. And you do find the first person, the founder, is an ancient nobleman who is named Rictus Butt. However, you find out that he also has another name, which was the name he was born as, which was Lupus Clama, who changed his name to Rictus Butt when he ascended into the nobility. That was apparently a common thing. Was you would take, if you were a commoner who was brought up into the nobility, you would take a new name.
Like butt.
But yeah, and he was known as alternately the sage and the master of all wisdom. He was a nobleman and a scholar. He founded schools and universities and was the first person to actually advance the concept of widespread education within the First Kingdom, and in fact opened the first ever mortal arcane university, known as Reginium Danique, which actually would teach magic to mortals. Because before that, if you wanted to learn magic and you weren't an immortal wizard, you basically had to become the slave of the wizard and hope that at some point they'd get bored and teach you a spell or two. But he created this university dedicated to learning magic and making it so it's no longer solely the purview of the immortal wizards. According to the histories, he vanished at age 301, and there is no mention of him again in any of the histories after he vanished.
Okay, and he was a human?
He was a human who lived 301 years, according to the histories, but, it's 2,500-year-old history, well, 25 to 2,200-year-old history. You do know there's a chance it is not 100% reliable.
Okay, so and there's no modern information after that?
No modern information. Any references to him that you see after that mainly just reference what you've already read. So, now we are going back to it. And this is now we are around the same time as what we were just talking about. We're about, we're in the second week, maybe even going into the third, but we're going to be covering some time here. I believe you're talking, your only other thing was...
Develop a habit of hanging out in the break room.
Yeah.
It's not, the first one hasn't been all that positive, but there's still humans in there. And
Yep.
it is gonna frequently,
Just pop in.
at least 10 times a day,
Okay.
look what's happening in the break room. Maybe play some pan flute for those people, This is one of those times. Alright, so I have a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll walk...
What kind of sandwich?
Cheese, ketchup, and pickles.
Interesting combination. You're definitely going for a flavor medley there. I like it.
I'm trying very hard to be human.
It's a hell pickles.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
They are hell pickles, and they're delicious. You were alone in the break room.
I'm really popular, is what you're saying.
As head librarian, you could just summon any librarian you want to talk to. If you want to see the guy from before, you can just command him to have to come.
Just demand them to come. Wow.
Yep.
I wish it worked like that.
Command him to arrive, and then command him to come.
I need you to jizz on these shoes. Now.
And if it seems like mistreatment, it's hell.
And then the door swings open, and two librarians you recognize walk through the door. They are the ancient librarian, whose name, as you know, is Guy, and the twink librarian, whose name you never got.
Oh, that's true.
And they are walking in, and they are having an animated discussion about the future of collecting Digimon cards for, investment purposes. So I was saying the Dickings are the... Oh, hello there! Are you gonna have to say his cock again? That was funny. Come on, Marcus. Show him your wiener. Do it. Just whip it out on the table like it was a sausage.
Oh.
Give him a dicking!
His name is Marcus.
Yes, his name is Marcus.
That's very nice.
Marcus Cat. Not many people get to show their dick to the boss when they've only been here for a few weeks, but I think you can do it.
I like to think that I didn't hear that. I'll get up. Hey guys, what do you think about this? And I'll take up my pan flute, play Man in the Mirror again, transform myself into Michael Jackson, and just start moonwalking like crazy. I want to impress those guys.
Okay, now, Guy immediately looks very impressed.
Wow, yeah.
He definitely enjoys the vintage Michael Jackson look, whereas Marcus is a little bit shocked, because you went from being, his, physical ideal to being kind of like a weird scarecrow man. And his dick doesn't know what to think about this. He's just literally wait a minute. I appreciate the move, but how did you become not attractive? What the fuck is going on here?
He's a very confused boner.
His boner doesn't know what to do. It's in fact, it's right now, it's doing its taxes. That's how confused it is.
I'm just gonna do that for a while. That is
You're just gonna moonwalk
Yes.
while playing the pan flute?
on the table, and I grab my crotch, which should help Marcus out a little bit.
No, Marcus is still just he's you were so much hotter before, but Guy is totally about it.
He's just too old
And
to
he's
dance.
doing a weird old man dance now, where he can't really cut a full rug because bones and joints and ligaments and stuff. He is doing a hobbly dance and occasionally clapping and going whoop whoop.
It's adorable.
And eventually Marcus just sort of sits down and begins to morosely eat his lunch because he's not really into this.
No.
He's very sad now.
My God, don't stop making me feel guilty from being Michael Jackson. That's not a...
He only eats half his sandwich and then he leaves.
Oh, God.
He goes back to his quarters and has a very confused crying wank.
Look, I mean, I hear that's a thing guys do anyway, so...
Well, he does it a lot anyway, but this is like more heartfelt and less just his gimmick.
I'm playing, you can't see it, but I'm playing a very tiny violin right now.
And at one point, Guy's just like, "You want to see my wiener?
No.
It's a good one. I used to do the pornos."
I'm sorry, the music is too loud. I can't hear you.
Okay, so Elisa's last scene was looking up UNT.
Yep. As Eliza is going through the stacks, looking for information on, UNT in the general area of Trask / WALP in general.
Yeah, any like hot young snakes in your area ads.
Yeah. Well, she realizes that there were really none integrated into Stab or overall greater Traskian society.
Mm.
However, there appear to be many either just in positions of influence or actually just like disguised within the Walpian nobility. They because it is a thing that UNT, especially purebloods, can infiltrate human society and sort of act as puppet masters up to the lower races.
Mm.
And it appears that there are several UNT in high-ranking positions in the Walpian nobility.
Okay, so yeah, file that information away. Maybe I don't
Yep.
have to wipe out the Walpians, especially if they might be my people.
Or at least being controlled by.
Mm.
As you're looking through the particular stuff, a librarian who you have not seen before, but then again, there are literally thousands of them. And you do see new librarians seemingly every day.
Mm.
Walks up to you, and he appears to be a human man. Does a quick, short bow and says, "Mistress, head librarian, I have noticed you looking quite a bit into the conditions of your people. Perhaps there is information I could provide to you that would be of use."
Okay, so Elisa will kind of tilt her head. Okay. Yes. Who are you?
"I'm the librarian.
Well, obviously.
That's all of our names. If you would just follow me there." He sort of looks around and he goes, "The stacks have ears, as they say."
Alright. And she'll get up and follow.
And he kind of like guides you just sort of like to a really unassuming looking door, which appears to look to one of the many side offices off of the main primary room of the library. He opens the door, and mage lights come on in the inside. And the first thing you notice about this room immediately is that it's dusty and looks unused. Which is odd because everything is well dusted. That's like the default not working job of all the librarians is to dust things. But the lights come on, and he closes the door behind the two of you. His hand glows for a second at the lock. And he goes, "I apologize for the clandestine nature of doing this, but there are many here who would not like me to give you the information I'm about to give you. And, well..." And then he reaches up to his forelock, which is a really neat medieval word for, like, roughly forehead area.
Okay.
And he grips his own forehead. And he rips literally the flesh off of his head.
Got lizard people in skin suits.
And basically, as he tears it, it just dissipates. And standing before you is definitely not the librarian. He goes, "And quite frankly, snaky lady, I do not think my mother would like to know that she's got a fucking clone."
What? I thought you were strapped to some kind of fucking rack.
Well, quite frankly, she would like to believe that, but you see, I didn't have enough divine energy to continuously regenerate, so Mother had to pump me full of some, and then you guys distracted her. Well, I had more than enough to make a really convincing clone. And neatly, and his hand just glow for a second, he goes, it's incredible, but this place has just filled me with quite a bit of rather bizarre and possibly demonic energy.
Well, that just wonders for the skin, I hear.
Absolutely. I have not had a breakout the entire time I've been here since I broke out. Not a single zit.
So does that mean you're returning with us, then?
Well, I'd like to.
And?
But there's something I desperately need to do first. You see, in order to get me to... And he kind of like does a really angry grunt. In order to get me to submit to her weird, tortury things, she'd been holding the souls of my agents captive separately. She probably told you some bullshit about how they were all being used to fuel the army, but not the ones from my units. I get them back. Do you realize what they're gonna do? They always thought the sunshine out of my ass before. You cannot believe how much they will believe in me.
I think I see where you're going with this. Is there any way we could get them back before Gloth returns?
I really think that might in fact be the best way to go. Because you see, afterwards, there'll be a probably very angry demon lord to stop us.
This sounds like quite an awful risk I'd have to be taking to get them back for you. What are you offering?
Well, because I already burnt my bridges with that traveler fella to get here. I don't know. Maybe you would kind of like knowing that you have an actual god on your side.
Oh, I see. Well,
All I need is some good old pure belief. And as he like looks down at his hand and he chuckles and it just sort of like glows again. I've been holding back far too long.
well, time is short, so what do we need to do?
So outrageous to toll.